said it in kind of an anticlimactic way, but it really was like everyone comes to grips with their whole deal, and it's like, are these girls gonna be friends for the short term? Yes, even without Massey. But who knows what comes in the future? No one knows. As you can probably tell, I put a lot of thought into this series. Interlude 3, the final interlude, the final set of interludes. I wanted to tell you my like kind of insane fan fiction of what I think them being adults in their mid-20s, early 30s, because they would be, if they were the age that they were at the start of the series, they would be closer to 35-ish, 30. But if they're about where the show ended and then moving forward, they would be my age, which is about 25. So I feel like this works for that general like 10-year span of like your late 20s into your mid 30s. First off, I would love to do a shout out to my most talkative commenter, Jizzy D, who when I asked, what do you think the clique is gonna be like once they're older, they were like, fucking busted drug addicts. And you know what? I think in a way you are right. I think they all have a pill phase. Oh my god, but I love the idea of them being like nepo baby internet celebrities, because I feel like at least one of them's gotta have like an absolutely cringe YouTube phase, no matter which like age group we go into. So I have a lot of thoughts. I took a lot of notes. While I was working on these, I would have thoughts and then I'd write them down on my little notebooks. You could tell when I get to the part where I just like pounded through these, but I'm like, my favorite characters ended up being like Kirsten. I think if I'm ranking them, it's Kirsten, Alicia, Dylan, Massey, Claire, Lane at the very, very, very bottom. But I really found that I really liked Kirsten by the end. She's really relatable. Like, not everyone's a saint like Claire, and that's what makes her, even though she's supposed to be down to earth, she's kind of mean. But I wrote a lot of things about two things that I think are quite solid. I believe three things. I believe that Claire goes back to acting. I believe that Kirsten joins the USA team for one of the successful runs for the last decade, so either 2016 or the 2020 team. And I believe that Alicia is some kind of talk show personality. It could be an internet talk show. She could be like that. She could be like a Teffy. But I do believe that she is in front of many people, gossiping, talking, spilling the tea. There are many different ways this manifests, but these are the ways that I liked. So we're gonna go through them. So Alicia has a talent. She has like a talented bone in her body. She could be a nepo baby journalist, a la Anderson Cooper, but more fun, a Wendy Williams. She gains credibility as a serious news journalist and then goes through a scandal that leaves her kind of feigning to do a Kelly Clarkson, Wendy Williams gossip fashion show. Paired with Dylan maybe. She might even end up more like the Mary Lee. I also noted the fact that I believe Massey would attempt to be on the show Claim to Fame. And if you don't know what Claim to Fame is, it's on ABC, and you're essentially like trying to guess who these random ass people are, who they're related to celebrity wise. Last season was really fun. I really enjoyed it. With the character who's celebrity person with Simone Biles is crazy, because she literally had Simone Biles' face and everyone had to be like, we don't know who your celebrity is. We're totally not gonna vote you off. But like, if she wasn't safe or protected, she was gonna get voted off. And we have the same thing this season, where there's one girl whose person is definitely Eddie Murphy, and like people are trying to guess it, but I already know it because I know too much, and it's just like, okay, sure. So I also have this list of just general things before I really got into it. Kirsten is a bisexual icon. She's given that they-them sandwich, and definitely plays on the 2016-2020 U.S. women's soccer team. With the asterisk attached that Kendra, Massey's mom, has always believed that the other girls are bad influences on Massey, and that's why she keeps getting away with K. So those were like my first notes. And then these were so important to me. Okay, they're not cute notes, so you won't get photos of these. So I think that into adulthood, Kirsten and Dylan are still friends. Like when Dylan becomes the Kendall of the Card Gen, Marilee's, Marvel's, deal, is notable. She's like a notable friend supporting her at the Olympics in 2016. But there is the Shailene Woodley of this world. While in high school, she stars in this generation's Little House on the Prairie as like an Anne of Green Gables kind of thing remake, and then starring in a YA book series. I believe I think she stars in the movie adaptation of The House of the Night in this alternate world, and is like super beloved like Shailene in Divergent. And also Shailene was in American Girl media for like a long ass time. So she ends up being like so loved, putting her into B and A-list stardom. She also still talks to Dylan and Massey, but not Alicia. Kirsten and her have that middle class rich kid interaction trauma. Play Rich Kids by Frank Ocean. I do have a little interpersonal drama checklist where, oh god, if you can't see it, I believe that Alicia and Massey are still close, and Massey's still close with Dylan. Massey does not talk to Kirsten. I think that whole thing where Kirsten was like, ooh, is she poor? I think that manifests once they have distance between them. Kirsten and Alicia are not friends for that similar reason. Alicia's too rich and she's just too far on the other opposite scale from Kirsten. But again, Kirsten and Claire are still friends, and Claire is still friends with Dylan because Dylan is like the glue that holds everything together, I believe, making Dylan and Kirsten's relationships also kind of central to the plot. Like hooking them to one of the other girls would be so you can't accidentally lose them in the shuffle. So I wrote down what I thought their sexualities were. I believe that Massey is bi/pan in a hip, cool way, but she only dates men. She's like the thing that like Republicans talk about. I think Claire is super straight, almost in a turfy way, to the point in which she has a story arc in which she has to release herself from the grip of J.K. Rowling and turfdom. Kirsten, gay, the kind of queer that defeats labels and is dating a they-them non-binary. Claire is shook and thus sets off her plot point. Alicia and Dylan are rich party girls, and that simply do not think of themselves as any kind of sexual being. They are sexual, but they do not have a sexuality until their parents decide that they are going to run for president, and the optics of their gay kids being together would be so good for their campaign that they have to force the two girls together. So this weirdly centrist campaign with a lawyer and a TV personality as running mates, switch them out however you need to, I think would have they have the energy of someone who says, I would have voted for Obama a third time. Like, in a not Trump world, what Oprah's campaign would have been like running for president. Lane is literally old loser in Brooklyn. She is on fucking social media ripping them to shreds and talking about their clothing, but everyone's like, you have intense beef with these girls, and she's like, no I don't, and they're like, everyone's like, we can tell, and then that's like a plot point. Cam and Claire are either married or they are very broken up. I kind of want to lean to very broken up because I want to put her with Josh because I love a bad boy storyline, but whatever. I kind of want to focus on Darrington as a other soccer star, and because Kirsten and Dylan are still close, they are still in contact with one another. I don't know if they're dating or not or what, but I feel like that's my will they won't they. They're so cute. And Todd is in jail for being a sex pest. Okay, here we have some more just random thoughts where Massey's parents were definitely at January 6th. I even believe that they were there with Claire's parents. Massey loudly disavows this because she knows the optics of this are bad for her career. She can't live like this. Miss Super Straight Claire doesn't loudly disavow her parents being at January 6th, but she does tell the FBI that they were there and that they tried to piss on ASC's door. The Lions and the Blocks are apolitical rich people that are just very stupid. Cool. Kirsten doesn't maintain a friendship with Massey because Massey is too far removed from her lived experience and resources. Like the lie that brought her to the PC in Charmed and Dangerous is less and less important because she has the things. She's a talented soccer star. She's intelligent. She does not need them to do things now. She is able to do things on her own. And thus, I think she would stay with Claire because I think Claire and her would go and do things. And I think it wouldn't be like this whole like beggars chooser thing. I think she'd be like, oh my god, I want to take my relatable friend with me to do things. So I think they would still be friends. Claire and Kirsten and Dylan are bonded by the Venn diagram of the PC of being feeling outside and othered very intensely. Because as much as like Alicia Alicia's another alpha. Alicia had other friends that were willing to flock to them. You didn't hear about someone flocking to Dylan. Given you do have Kirsten is also like soccer alpha, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, cool. And then my last one is I believe that Alicia's going to be a TV star, like Kelly Clarkson / Drew Barrymore. Claire, as being a beloved teen actress, is like fake nice when she's on the show. But she essentially Dakota Johnson's That's Not True Ellen when they're like, oh my god, do you remember when we met and we were just the closest of friends? And Claire's like, the time you kissed my boyfriend at the school project. And it's just like, and then Lane is just stirring the pot on social media. Landon's mom is definitely a Real Housewives type, and so he appears pretty often in the reality star space, and maybe even dated Dylan for some PR components. So my last thought is it's only tangentially related, but it's like, you notice how when you have like male nepo babies, there are only like 3 things they're allowed to do. They can be a celebrity chef. They can be really dumb. Sorry, they can be a celebrity chef. They can be a less good version of their father, athletic, or they can be a photographer. See Brooklyn Beckham. I don't really have anything else of importance to say. I realized I kind of like sprint ran and didn't talk about Charmed and Dangerous. I also have a deep dive coming out on a little like story time, like a retrospective about 2013 YouTube, simming YouTube that's coming. I also